Hello and welcome to the lecture. In this lecture, we're going to see increment and decrement operators. So you have post increment and pre increment, and then you have post decrement and pre decrement. So we're going to look into those operators now. So if you go to this folder, example 6, open the deliverable. So we'll use this operator which is denoted by plus plus, that is increment, minus minus is decrement. Okay, so let's use this operator now. So I'm going to save the file. I'm copy over what are the operators here. So copied over two operators here. The first is plus plus, that is an incremental operator by 1. Okay, so whenever you say plus plus, by default it includes that it is equal to plus 1. When you say minus minus, it is decremental by 1. Okay, remember the value 1 is not seen, but it's implicated that when you use plus plus or minus minus, the actual value will be decremented by 1 and incremented by 1. Okay, so let's look at these examples. So we'll use the same counter variable. So we'll say use plus plus increment operator. For this we will define a counter of 10. Previously we saw the assignment operator, right, which we say plus 1, that becomes the 11. Then when we echo it out, then we were able to see 11. So let's quickly do this. Okay, the same thing can be achieved with post increment operator. We can simply say like this. So if you notice, the operators I have assigned after the variable, that's why it's called as post. Well, can you guess what is the output here and what is the output here? And remember, it is post. Okay, make a guess, then I'll run this. I'll try to explain you why it happened like that. So if you see here, 11 is coming up from here. Again, when even after you increment, it is 11. But after the increment has been done, the next time the value becomes 12. Okay, the post increment will not increment and display in the same statement. The post increment will happen after the statement has been finished. So once statement has been finished, this operator will execute and the variable of counter will be 12. But when echo tries to print this variable, it doesn't take post increment into the consideration. Well, that's because the post increment increments after the statement execution has been finished. That's why once after it's finished, the counter variable value is 12, and that's why we are able to print it. Well, what if you want to increment first and then print it? Okay, so let's look at the pre-increment operator. So instead of using the plus plus after the variable, you use the same operator before the variable. Okay, let's look at the output now. So this time you can see 13 and 13. So pre-increment basically is before any operation happens, the pre-increment will execute. That's basically the operator precedence, right? The first operator execute is this one. The value of counter will be 13, and after that the echo will be executed. Where in the post, first the echo is executed, and after the statement is finishing, it executes this post. So post doesn't take into consideration when the statement is executing. You just execute, and then the value is assigned after the statement has been finished. Wherein the pre, before anything happens, it makes sure the pre is executed first. It has the highest precedence. Then once the value of counter is 13, then it's taken into consideration the statement to execute the rest of the equation. Okay, and then you can see even though before and after the value is same. Okay, let's use the same notation for minus minus, that is a decrement operator. I'm copy pasting just to save time. You can use the same operator minus, and you can verify this. That's basically 9, because 10 minus 1 is 9, and you can have the post and pre for counters as well. Okay, so let's view this. If you look at 9 and 8, that's basically the post. 7 and 7 is basically coming up from the decrement. So this basically, this operator will execute first, then the actual statement will execute. Okay, so that's all about incremental and decremental operators. It's very handy. It's automatically incremented by 1 and decremented by 1. You have post and pre. Okay, so that's all about this lecture on incremental and decremental operator. I'll see you in the next one.